They say the world is full of mysteries, but the story of this brilliant inventor is particularly captivating. In the early 20th century, when technology was only beginning to shape our modern way of life, there appeared a man whose ideas were far ahead of his time. He was known for his revolutionary discoveries in the fields of wireless energy and unmanned aerial vehicles. Yet, as if by fate, this man suddenly vanished, leaving behind a wave of speculation and intrigue. Still a young man, this innovator took his first steps in what we now call wireless power transmission. It was said that his laboratory often displayed strange devices sparkling with mysterious lights. It's no wonder many literally called him a wizard. However, despite his popularity and achievements, one day he simply disappeared without a trace. Rumors swirled, from abduction to a voluntary retreat into obscurity to continue experiments in solitude. Did he have enemies? Possibly. His discoveries could have upended the established world of technology and the interests of major corporations. No evidence of his disappearance was ever found, and the search seemed to span the entire globe. Family, friends, and inventor communities were stunned. He left behind unfinished projects that for years continued to spark debate and admiration among engineers and scientists. Time went on, and his memory gradually faded. But who's to say he truly vanished forever? Perhaps somewhere in a remote place, he continued his experiments, waiting for the right moment to return. In the next part, we will learn more about his unique inventions that forever changed the perception of the future. The inventor's laboratory was a place full of mysteries and incredible devices that contemporaries could only guess at. It was hard to believe that in the early 20th century, someone could be developing wireless energy transmission systems. Yet our hero worked tirelessly, and his dreams of electromagnetic waves capable of transporting energy began to take shape as real prototypes. These devices, equipped with unusual antennas and coils, inspired awe among colleagues, but also stirred unease in those who feared radical change. Among his most discussed creations were unmanned aerial vehicles. Imagine, in an era when airplanes were just beginning to conquer the skies, he was already designing technologies that could use wireless energy to control machines. It was said that some of his experiments with unmanned systems were so astonishing that eyewitnesses compared his work to magic. Even 100 years later, his patents and blueprints remain a subject of study and admiration. They laid the foundation for subsequent technological developments we might not even suspect, though many have yet to be brought to life. Perhaps the complexity and ambition of his projects were the reason for his disappearance, or maybe it was done intentionally to protect his ideas from those who feared change. Ahead lies even more discovery, how his ideas and inventions remained hidden from the world for so long, and what was found in the mysterious places that concealed the genius. The search for our inventor began immediately after his disappearance, but stretched on for decades. Various groups of researchers tried to solve his mystery. In his laboratory, they found numerous unfinished blueprints and prototypes, as if fate itself had left clues for future generations. Some of his works were studied inside and out, but the true meaning of certain ideas remained hidden. This only fueled the interest of seekers, both scientists and the simply curious. Over time, the search took the form of full-fledged expeditions. They ventured into the most remote corners of the planet, trying to find traces of our hero. His notebooks and personal letters were examined, providing new leads. Theories emerged that he used hidden laboratories underground or in the mountains to continue his experiments. But there was always a shadow of doubt. Could anyone really survive so long in complete isolation? Interestingly, his work influenced an entire generation of inventors. Even decades after his disappearance, the ideas embedded in his blueprints still inspire and find their reflection in modern technologies. Many projects he conceived came to fruition only at the end of the 20th century. This gave the impression that, despite his absence, his spirit was still present in the world of technology. But what exactly remained of the genius? And how did his traces resurface? Ahead are mysterious finds that shed new light on his fate and confirmed incredible suspicions. When one expedition stumbled upon a network of unexplored caves in a remote mountain range, no one could have imagined the secrets they hid. Researchers not only found signs of human presence, but also incredible devices clearly made by hand. Broken instruments with strange symbols and patterns reminiscent of blueprints from the vanished inventor's laboratory evoked awe. Deeper into the cave, the trail led to something even more astonishing. A whole camp with remnants of equipment which, despite its age, carried echoes of brilliant ideas. At the very depths of the cave, researchers came upon strange devices resembling the antennas from his wireless experiments. It was clear that active work had taken taken place there. It seemed as though time had stopped. Everything looked as if the person had left only yesterday. But what had brought him here? And why did this genius choose such an isolated place for his research? The answers were closer than anyone thought. On one of the cave walls, scratched diagrams and formulas were found, which no one could decipher. These intricate drawings became a true treasure for scientists trying to understand their meaning. Most striking was that among these scribbles appeared familiar features of his handwriting. It seemed he not only settled here, but continued his experiments in complete seclusion. Each clue found in the cave revealed more about the inventor's life during his disappearance. The traces discovered there showed the unyielding determination of a man who had dedicated his life to science. The greatest minds tried to unravel the remaining mysteries of his stay here, for it seemed the inventor had uncovered something hidden even from today's scientists. What other secrets lay in these dark depths? The answers to these questions would prepare us for the next encounter with the past. This day would be remembered as one of the most unexpected in history. Decades after his disappearance, our inventor was found alive. He stood before the researchers like a ghostly figure brought back from the past. His face was worn, but his eyes burned with the same fire that once fueled his ambitions. Few could believe what they saw. How could a man survive in complete isolation for so long? According to the inventor, the years spent in the cave were dedicated to ceaseless experiments. He explained that the cave proved to be a unique place for research work, free from outside interference. All this time, he had been perfecting his ideas, noting that each discovery in the cave, including the strange antennas and wall diagrams, was part of his work on wireless energy and other inventions. Researchers were astounded. How had he survived without access to outside resources? The secret was simple. The cave had underground water sources and edible plants, which became the foundation of his survival. Moreover, the inventor had significantly advanced his inventions. Using the skills acquired over many years of isolation, he developed ways to convert natural resources into energy, mastering methods that the modern world could only dream of. This discovery forever changed perceptions of the human mind's potential and the ability to endure. However, as it turned out, the inventor had no intention of keeping his secrets hidden. He was ready to share his knowledge with the world, hoping his discoveries would help guide civilization onto a new path. The world held its breath in anticipation of what would come next. But the greatest revelations were still ahead, and the story of his incredible return was only beginning. In the isolated world of the underground cave, our inventor did not simply survive, he created. His days were filled with work aimed at expanding the boundaries of human understanding. Left alone, he focused all his efforts on perfecting technologies he had once only dreamed of. It was here, within the stone walls, that his brilliant ideas began to take on new form. Using local resources, he built miniature laboratories from improvised materials, where he continued his research. Wireless energy, his great passion, became his primary focus. He used naturally occurring minerals and magnetic fields to develop new ways of transmitting energy without wires. Each day brought him new discoveries. The inventor created his own system capable of generating electricity from the surrounding environment, applying laws of physics he had refined in his isolated world. All the while, he kept meticulous records, remaining devoted to his mission despite the hardships. He also had not forgotten his unmanned aerial vehicle projects. With limited resources, the inventor managed to create prototypes that could harness the unique energy of his development. These craft, primitive by modern standards, were revolutionary in their own way. They demonstrated that his dream of a future where machines move freely without cables or fuel was far more attainable than it once seemed. Every new experiment yielded incredible results, showing just how far a person can go with knowledge and determination. Our hero's research continued year after year, and each new success only confirmed the greatness of his mind. He had not only preserved his knowledge in the wild, but had developed it in ways only someone driven by unquenchable passion and a thirst for discovery could. 100 years had passed, and our world had become completely different. Technological progress had reached unimaginable heights. Inventions once only dreamed of in the early 20th century had become part of everyday life. Yet the isolated inventor had no idea of the scale of these changes. He stood before the snow-covered peaks of civilization, full of technologies his own ideas might have inspired. Cellular communication, driverless cars, and renewable energy, all manifestations of his long-ago dreams. He was amazed to realize that the work he had once left in his laboratory had not been in vain. At first, he was struck by the power of technologies now used in industry and daily life. But with every new detail he understood, he began to feel that his genius ideas had not merely survived, they had become catalysts for new discoveries. Observing people's everyday lives, he saw that not only his inventions, but also the principles he had laid down were reflected in modern technologies. Wireless energy transmission, once met with confusion and resistance, had become commonplace. However, as the inventor discovered, many of the experiments he had intensely developed in isolation could offer even more. Modern scientists, including those interested in his disappearance, admired the depth of his understanding of physics demonstrated in the caves. Particularly impressive were his ideas for using natural resources to convert energy, making a worthy contribution to the development of alternative energy. The inventor understood that his experience could answer many of the challenges faced today. He was ready to share his knowledge and discoveries, aiming not only to amaze the world, but to help solve problems of the new era. The secrets he had carefully guarded were poised to change the world, opening new horizons for humanity, and his return marked a new chapter in the history of science. Shortly after the inventor's return, the world was shaken by something incredible. His inventions and ideas, long thought lost, suddenly became available to the public. Scientists, engineers, and tech enthusiasts from all over the globe began studying his notes and blueprints, attempting to unravel the genius concepts hidden in the caves. His developments in wireless power transmission and autonomous aerial vehicles drew particular interest. The breakthroughs he had completed in isolation now had the potential to transform various technologies. Seminars and conferences worldwide eagerly awaited the inventor's appearance. He spoke of his methods and experiments with such passion that he inspired a new generation of researchers. His demonstrations vividly showed how natural resources could be used not only for survival, but also to achieve energy independence. Once deemed impossible, these ideas were now becoming reality. The world was astonished to learn that some of his experiments far exceeded contemporary technologies. Harnessing the cave's natural magnetic fields and minerals to generate energy without fossil fuels captured everyone's imagination. This knowledge opened a new era of research into renewable energy sources, marking a significant step forward in addressing global energy crises. The inventor's return became a sensation not only in the scientific community, but across society as a whole. The proof of his work confirmed that the ideas he had cultivated in Solitude for so many years were no fantasy but reality. These discoveries could forever change humanity's approach to science and technology, leaving room for further innovation. The secrets our hero had preserved unlocked countless unexpected paths for technological progress, and now, thanks to him, humanity was ready to take a new step into the future. The secrets of the inventor who escaped the grasp of time astonished scientists and led to a true technological revolution. Upon his return, he immediately became the center of attention, and his notes and blueprints attracted researchers from around the world. His breakthroughs in wireless energy and autonomous aerial vehicles became the main topics of discussion and study. The developments he had completed in isolation now had the potential to transform current technologies and the principles governing their use. The released data sparked genuine excitement in scientific circles. Researchers sought to master his methods of using natural resources to generate energy. The inventor generously shared his findings, conducting seminars and lectures where he demonstrated the possibilities of contactless energy transmission. His methods proved not only effective but also environmentally safe, making them especially relevant in an era of combating environmental pollution. Particular attention was drawn to his experiments with natural magnetic fields and minerals, which he used to create energy without fossil fuels. These innovations became a major breakthrough in renewable energy. The initial results showed that these new technologies could not only reduce energy dependence, but also radically change humanity's approach to energy consumption. The inventor's sudden return was not only a sensation, but also the start of a new era in science and technology. His discoveries inspired a new wave of researchers to develop even more ambitious projects. Driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge, he became a catalyst for a paradigm shift in science. The secrets he had guarded for so long had now opened boundless horizons for humanity's continued development.